Welcome back to This Is a Work. My name is David Hensley. I'm the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and I am here to introduce your host, David Two Doggz Hayes.
Thank you very much, David Hensley, and welcome to another edition of This Is a Work. We are here in Kayfabe Outpost 1, and I am here without my tag team partner, Chris the Fashion Plate Barnes. He could not make this one, unfortunately, so I have had to drop back and punt, and we've got a special guest tag partner in for me. We have Ted Death Ray Patterson. I never figured out a name for you.
It's all right. It's all right. Hi, everybody. I'm Ted. You might know me better as Shelby Death Ray Patterson's husband.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Let the nicknames, come up for themselves. It's like you leave, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a nickname.
How about Ted the Party Crasher Patterson?
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
I could deal.
Yeah.
I can hang with that.
Yeah. So, guys, we did Survivor Series this week, and, you have heard me say this almost every Survivor Series that we have done, where I said, it's about time to get rid of Survivor Series because nothing's happening with it.
Mm-mm.
It's a useless pay-per-view, and it used to be very special, but it's not special anymore.
Because here's how unspecial it is. I don't remember the last Survivor Series. In fact, it's like because we're basically, this is our timestamp. Before Triple H took over, what was the big pull for the last Survivor Series? I do not remember.
Last year, I don't remember. The year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that.
Because what is supposed to distinguish Survivor Series from all the other pay-per-views? Like, what was the big thing about it that made it so special?
Well, it seemed to be that the big push was supposed to be SmackDown versus Raw, and then there was that 1 year that was SmackDown versus NXT versus Raw.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And that one wasn't half bad,
right?
But still no point.
Because it was always after Crown Jewel.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, because wasn't that when everybody was... No, that was just Raw, because everybody was stuck in Saudi Arabia with the airplane. And so then Triple H was just like, I'll get my NXT babies to get in there and put on a show. And a better show they put on.
But it was the same year that they did Raw versus NXT versus SmackDown.
Okay, yeah. So there we go.
And this one... I gotta say, folks, this was the best Survivor Series that I have seen in well over a decade.
It was very entertaining. It reminded me, because I only started watching wrestling when we started hanging out, and then of course when Shelby came into the picture, she dunked my head into NXT.
Right.
And this Survivor Series, especially with it being a mix of Survivor Series and specifically War Games, it was the most NXT I have seen on a main roster show, in a very long time. It's just with the first match, reminded me of just God, it's like NXT all over again. And in fact, it's all the... all the NXT faithful are in the ring together, all the best ones.
Yeah.
Or at least the ladies' match.
Yeah.
And we'll get in that in a second.
Absolutely. Now, as I said, I love this, but it was not without problems.
No.
I got a couple of critiques, but, it's most of my critiques on this are just me and my old school cornet brain that it's, there's a part of the 80s wrestling inside me that's never going away. So because of that, I got a few critiques, but it's just a small opinion. It's not that I didn't enjoy it.
Well, it's your critiques are going to be much more in-depth than mine, because I only remember in specific details the first and last match.
Right.
It's just everything else in between. It's, it's kind of like you wake up from a dream and you remember like segments, you remember bits and specific parts. But I have to just go into this saying, like, I won't have too much to critique outside of, the War Games matches.
Right. No problem. I took copious notes on this one.
Cool.
So
then I will ask questions.
Right.
Be like, what was this again?
So let's get started.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We're going to start out with the women's War Games match. This consisted of Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, Nikki Cross, Io Sky, and
Dakota Kai.
Thank you, and Dakota Kai. It wasn't coming out of my brain. So we start this thing out with Dakota and Belair. Odd start. I wouldn't have done it that way, but Belair wants to be, the.
Yeah, it's got to show she's the powerhouse. She can last through the whole show.
Yeah. Now, this is where my critiques come in.
Yeah.
Dakota did not look good for, like, I would say the first 15, maybe even 20 minutes of this match.
Yeah.
She looked really sloppy, was blowing spots all over the place. Belair, on the other hand, covered for her as best as she possibly could. But
Yeah.
Bianca is so damn strong.
She is.
The one moment that she hit with Dakota was this textbook perfect suplex. She looked, the highest compliment that I can give, some people will take offense to it, but she looked like one of the guys when she did it. She picked her up and took 2 steps forward and then took a little bump herself when given the suplex. And it's just that little something that gives you that something on the suplex.
It's really nice with this match, especially with the talent that were in it. It was all the NXT people that I first saw when I started watching. And going into it, it's with Dakota, I can understand that there's a bit, every once in a while she doesn't hit the spots correctly, but she knows how to play the character.
She does.
She's always going to put on a good show when it comes to that.
And she did round things out as we went forward.
Because let's see, this isn't her first pay-per-view, or at least not on the main roster.
No. She's done the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
On the main roster. Io Sky is the next one to come out.
I love Io.
I do too. She had a shaky start too, but she made up with this Mexican missile drop kick, which people don't call it a Mexican drop kick anymore. The difference between the two drop kicks is the Mexican drop kick is done with you're just taking a flat back bump.
Yeah.
Whereas the missile drop kick is you kind of go on the side. Both are done from the top rope. And she hit one and knocked Belair halfway across the damn ring.
It's just Io. She is the genius of the sky. It's like you're always gonna expect some great spots with her, and especially coming up later with her and Mia Yim. It's a great reference to like some old NXT stuff that she did.
Yeah.
But who was up next though?
Asuka is the next one to come in. She came in and right off the bat, she botched. Just fell right on her face, and she worked her way out of it. But this is kind of my thing. This is starts the criticism here. You can't plan spots like I know what they're trying to do. But you can't do this in a War Games match. This is a cage match. This is essentially punching and kicking. And, if you're going to do a spot, it's a big power spot. It's a big bump spot.
Yeah.
The lucha style doesn't really work in an arena like this.
Yeah. Especially like that early in a match, wouldn't you say?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Especially in a match like War Games. It's like you got to make sure you save those once everybody's in the ring.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of them bringing all the hardware into the ring.
Yeah, they took a while for that.
But see, the thing about it, the guys did it too, and I'm not a fan of them doing it either. It didn't look good. It seemed like it took away. It's putting a hat on top of a hat.
Yeah,
it's like you get this cage is enough. You have 2 rings and a cage all the way around both of them. What more do you want?
And especially with as many wrestlers in the ring at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just, I have enough trouble trying to keep up with everybody, or at least like I can only imagine being at the show live.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, what do I need to pay? Who do I need to pay attention to? I mean, it's easier for us at home because the camera is showing you like, okay, you're going to be watching this spot and making sure you're going to see this spot, when the direction is good.
See, the one thing about that is wrestling nowadays will tell you who you need to pay attention to, because everybody will sell and roll to the side.
Yeah, they do. It's like they wait their turn. I appreciate that, but I'm sure, like, again, just imagining being there live is just like, well, I'm not sure like what I'm supposed to be looking at, and especially when they're bringing in all the like the trash cans and the lids and and everything is just like it can get overwhelming and overstimulating.
Oh, 100%.
But it's really funny whenever they just like they do like hit a spot and then just go off into the corner and just wait their turn.
Now, speaking of unloading hardware, Nikki Cross is the next one to come in, and she brings out trash can lids, kendo sticks. Those kendo sticks are always under the ring for some unknown reason. And
how's it feel to have crazy Nikki Cross back?
It feels really good.
I told you this a few days ago. I was never really a big fan of Ash or Nikki Ash or whatever, but it's like I understand it's not for me. But the thing is, in my defense, you're putting it in front of me, therefore I am going to have opinions.
Apparently, it wasn't for anybody.
Really?
As far as I know, I'm the only one on the planet that liked Nikki ASH.
Really?
I'm the only one.
Why?
I don't know. I just
you just
I
vibed
thought
with it?
I thought it was cute.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's not cute. It's just for me. It's again, it's just the pandering. It's like we're oversaturated with the comic book films, and so like when you have wrestlers that have like a superhero or like a big presence and a big theme, usually it's like the superhero is made out of it.
Right.
It's like you think of a lot like Prince Puma, in Lucha Underground. It's like, he's not necessarily a superhero, but a man in the mask doing some crazy flips, almost like he's flying.
Ricochet.
It's
when he first started.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now.
I mean, it's like they're for me, it's just like the superhero theme is just a bit on the nose,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like with Nikki Ash, it was just like, okay, I see, I understand what this is, and I understand that she wanted to do it, and it was her thing, and I get it, and it was for the kids, but I'm watching, and I am a cynical 30-year-old man.
Now people
that is strong on opinions, but now with crazy Nikki Cross back in the mix, I'd be like, all right, I'm in for it. I'm here to see Nikki rip some hair out of heads.
Now, people used to get on me because I used to like Hurricane Helms, also a superhero gimmick that was very different because it was Sugar Shane Helms, who's from around here, and he was doing the tiny superhero that was not going to get over, but he was gonna make some comedy with it, and it was fun.
Yeah,
and
you gotta love that though.
That's not what Nikki was here to do.
No,
she was here to take that very seriously, and it upset people.
Yeah, for me it was a little cringe.
Yeah,
but again, it wasn't for me.
No. It was supposed to be for the kids, but even the kids hated it.
Yeah. But it's nice seeing the Nikki Cross we first saw and that we loved. The crazy, out of control, just banshee.
Yeah. Well, the next person to come out is Alexa Bliss. She does some simple spots, does a couple of... does a high cross body on top of everybody, big pilates.
Yeah.
And
we're not sure what to do with her right now.
I think something's happening.
Yeah.
But it's I think something's happening with Bray.
Yeah.
But it's going to be another slow burn.
Yeah.
And
because we're trying to see where the LA Knight stuff is going to go now.
Right. We still got to find out who Uncle Howdy is, and there's a lot happening there, and I think it's happening with Alexa as well, because every time Alexa gets on screen, they flash that firefly.
Yeah, and like Asuka saw it, and then some people were like, "Oh, maybe it's Asuka," and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense if it's Asuka.
Right. Nah, I don't. That wouldn't. Maybe it would. I don't know.
I don't know. Again, it's like they're pairing him with LA Knight right now, and nobody thought about pairing those two together.
Never saw that one coming.
Yeah, but it's interesting as hell.
Yeah. Now Bailey's our next one comes out. She comes in. She grabs a ladder, some tables, and charges into the ring. And here we go.
Yeah.
Rhea is the next one. She comes in, and she is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nothing really special happens at this point. And finally, here comes Becky. And she's doing a little bit of the Roman Reigns thing.
Yeah.
She's walking around the ring. She's actually talking smack very slowly, really Romaning it up.
Yeah.
And it's a little cringe, but it's a bit because
it's Becky.
Yeah,
it's like the man's back.
Right.
It's like this is her first pay-per-view. No, it's not her first pay-per-view back. It's her second. No.
No.
It is her first.
It
was her first back.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Mia Yim in this?
Mia Yim was in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot about Mia Yim.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it's like going back to EO. Mm-hmm. Is that Mia Yim does a spot with her where she puts a trash can over EO.
I got that in.
Yeah,
here, yeah.
and that to me, it's like a good callback to the one iconic moment in one of the past NXT War Games where EO was doing high spot on top of the cage, puts a trash can over herself, makes a fun face before she puts it over her head, and just
I remember that.
falls on everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's this fun little moment where Mia just puts the can over her and just bap.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not a War Games unless EO's got a can over her head.
Now, the go home on this match, once everybody gets into the ring, mm-hmm. And my computer just went down on me. There it goes. Nikki ends up taking out some handcuffs, which, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hensley's over there. He cringed his face when he heard that. That's handcuffs are going to live in his heart forever now because of Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns.
Oh, cue God. PTSD flashback.
Well, it's fine because she did not it didn't seem like she closed the handcuffs big enough to really hold her hands in there, not for a minute.
Yeah.
So she could easily put her hands through it.
It's still the whole thing was Nikki was going to handcuff her, but then Alexa handcuffed her back, so now they're handcuffed together.
Yes.
The thing about that whole spot was it looked really awkward. It took not as awkward as other handcuff spots that have happened, but awkward nonetheless. The go home on this is it was weird. It was Becky just ends up dropping an atomic leg on Dakota Kai to get a 3 count, and no manhandle slam, no nothing.
Yeah.
It was weird. And then here's the thing. This is a gripe that I've got. You guys were just in War Games. I don't need anybody standing up at win or lose. Nobody stands up and panders when you get the win. You're all dead. You've been in a war.
You should be exhausted. You should not be standing, or at least you're fumbling just to get out the door.
Yeah, or just pretend to sell. But all the girls, they got up and they all lined up and they all yay, both hands in the air, big smiles, just happy to be here.
Yeah.
War Games. Might as well have called it butterflies. It was it bothered me.
Yeah.
Having said all of that, I did enjoy it.
It was a lot of fun.
I gave it a 3.5 Meltzer.
Especially the spot of the poison mist. Because
I forgot about the poison mist.
Well, I mean, it's like, when was the last time we saw Asuka use like a mist?
She hasn't. Because
I mean, like,
it's usually a hill thing.
Yeah, she did it once. Like, what is it now? Like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Well, probably pre-COVID.
yeah. So
Back when you could still comfortably spit on other people.
yeah. So whenever that was, it's like, time is
The before times.
Yeah, time is irrelevant now. That's what George Carlin said. But yeah, it was really cool to see that mist again, and to kind of like, confirm, the whole makeup that Asuka's always had ever since she did it. She's always had like the stains on the lips and the eyes and everything, and it's nice to see her use that again, so that it's just like, that's why she has the outfit and like the makeup that she does,
right?
Is because that's the thing that she does.
Yeah.
So it's just, and it was funny because like I couldn't tell what it was in the beginning, because like the whole rule is different colors of mist mean different things. Yeah.
And this was blue.
Yeah.
Now I used to know what the different colors meant. I don't anymore. I think the mist put
Shelby
the
would tell you.
The blue mist, I believe, put you to sleep, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, because it was like, it said poison, but it's like, it's not green, or at least it's not showing up green.
The green mist blinded you.
Oh, is that what that does?
I know the green mist blinded you. I knew that for a fact.
I mean, you can call that poison. Yeah.
But I mean,
and it's like,
we're
Shelby,
not going by that anymore.
I mean,
so.
Shelby knows the whole alchemy of all that. It's like, I know she's told me like whenever they spray black mist, that means they're dead.
Yes,
and that person
that kills
is
you.
Done. Yeah, it's like that.
They're out of that fed.
Yeah. That wrestler, you cannot wrestle as that anymore. You got to think up something different.
Right.
But Rhea is always a lot of fun to watch. And I think it was funny because like they posted afterwards. I mean, going back to the comment was just like, "Yay, everybody's great. We're not tired." Although the heel team was leaving exhausted to the point where Rhea was carrying Io out.
I saw that. Yeah,
it was a fun little thing. It's a fun little backstage thing that they did for the social medias. They couldn't show it on they couldn't show it on TV, but at least the heels know how to sell it.
And here's the other thing about Rhea. Man, they put the rocket on her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because for a while when she came to the main roster, things weren't looking so good.
No. Vince again doesn't know what to do with women that know what they're doing.
He doesn't know what to do with anybody
That knows what they're doing. Obviously. I mean, look at Karrion Kross when he first showed up.
Oh, I know.
my
Oh, God.
Yeah, we don't need to go back into that.
No.
But
no.
I mean, again, it just shows it was Vince. Once Hunter got hold of the reins, it's been a whole different show. It's been so much more entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, okay, first of all,
We have been complaining less.
this show was 3 hours. And it was jam-packed. 3 hours, 5 matches. I was completely satisfied by the end of this pay-per-view. It was over at 10:30. And I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. However, 1 week before, we saw 15 matches.
Oy vey.
And it was 4.5 hours long.
I just see. I
Garbage. We'll get into that.
yeah.
We'll get into that because
yeah.
I've been arguing with people on TikTok, and
Which you shouldn't be doing.
no, I'm actually really enjoying it.
Are you?
Yeah, I really am.
No, you're a masochist.
I mean, well, it's not mean. I'm not. People aren't wishing me dead. At least
Not now.
not at this.
Once they find out you're doing this, maybe.
Oh, I tell them. I told
you do?
Last week, I told them I would address some things on the podcast, and I don't know if they tuned in or not. But
Well, hello if you're listening.
yeah,
And
so
you suck.
no, I enjoy every one of them. It's some of them get a little upset with me, but that's okay. Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's get into our next one.
Yeah.
The next match on the card is Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. Guys, I was not expecting anything from this match. In fact, I had kind of forgotten this was going to even happen.
Yeah.
Man, this match was super hot.
I mean, it flowed really, really well.
It was an old school match. It was counter for counter, move for move. There was not a clear winner. Well, I mean, at least a leader in this.
There weren't a lot of slow spots either.
There weren't. It was the spots were clean. Everything was perfectly executed. It was
The word fluid is a good description of this.
It really is.
It just flowed very, very easily.
yeah. It really was. Let me see.
That's what happens when you come in with those cool looking masks like they did.
it's all about the masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. AJ decided he was going to don a kind of a Winter Soldier looking mask.
Well, it's supposed to be the helmet that's on their shirt.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what it is. It's
Yeah.
like it's that weird like samurai helmet that's on it. It's like a mix between a samurai helmet and a gas mask.
Yeah.
And
And,
it looked really cool. And I hope that they're going to merch that.
I'm sure it has something to do with the old school Bullet Club.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
It looked sweet.
Yeah, it did. It was cool looking.
You can sell that really easily.
Absolutely.
And then Finn comes out like Cobra Commander.
Yeah, with his faceless mask on, and I like Finn's new music.
Yeah, it's everybody's got like their original with everybody in that faction. They have their original theme as like the undertone.
Yeah.
But the main
It's
theme.
a little.
It's there. You hear it. You know it's there. But it's like it's like Lord of the Rings score. It's just
Right.
like little fragments of it.
Yeah, it's a feel alike. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are jamming in this thing, man. It's Dominic is there.
Looking like he's scared.
Yeah.
When that Rhea is upset. He's just like, oh, I'm gonna get it tonight. Poppy's mad.
They are doing some cringy stuff with Dominic that, like, they did the whole Thanksgiving dinner thing.
See,
with Ray.
again, that's not for us.
I guess not.
Nah, it's for the freaks that leave the comments on Rhea's Instagram.
Yeah. But here's
It's
the
fun
thing.
though.
You have Dominic and you have Damian Priest on one side, and then you have the Good Brothers on the other side.
Yes.
And they did it the way you're supposed to do. The heels are interfering in the match. They're getting involved. It's like they're cheating, and then the Gallows and Anderson have had enough, and they go and they attack the heels on the outside. They fight out over the barricade and work their way to the back and are never seen again. As God intended.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be, though. It's when you have matches like that, when you have people that are constantly interfering, that's how those pay-per-views are supposed to work.
And again, it just helped with the flow. It kept it exciting. And then once they left, you can then focus in on the match itself,
Right.
with the main fighters.
And even with them doing that spot and moving to the back, it took nothing away from the match. There's still it was still going counter for counter, hold for hold, and I would love to see. God, I hate that I'm going to say this.
You just flop your arms.
I really do hate that I'm about to say this about a WWE match. I would like to see this again.
Yeah?
I mean, I would. I want to see a part 2.
Well, that's a first. That's
right?
That's a first. We haven't had that in a while. Again, with these pay-per-views.
Well, you usually don't have a choice. They're going to show you the match 8 times.
Yeah. That. Now that you say it, I have noticed they stopped doing that.
They have.
It's like the only thing they replay are specific spots or something that's going to continue the story and not the story as it is in that moment.
Meanwhile, on the other channel, we are doing the best of 7 of the
I ain't got time for that.
for the Young Bucks and David's favorite team, Death Triangle.
It's
What is a goddamn death triangle? All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
it's Bermuda.
Yeah, it's the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
That would be a better name for them.
Yeah.
Because they get lost all the time in the match.
And they should be never seen again.
Oh, okay. But we're not talking about AEW tonight.
Yeah, not tonight.
Because I'll end up getting on TikTok again.
Then we'll be here for 5 hours.
So the go home on this match, AJ Styles goes over with another phenomenal forearm, but even then, there was still a kick out like at 3.5. It was just it was a little too late, and it was, man, the go home was beautiful. It was a solid match. In fact, it was so solid, I gave it a 5.
Wow.
5
how about that?
Meltzers. Yeah.
Is that the first 5 we've had in a while?
It's the first 5 that I've given WWE this year, I believe.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, that's they put on a goddamn clinic, and it was a joy to watch.
Well, look at that.
And then things turned.
Yeah.
Our next match is for the the SmackDown Women's Championship. And this is champion Rowdy Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I did not have any interest in this match. I was like half paying attention.
Nor should you.
I just, and I wish it wasn't like that, because like I loved Shotzi when she was Shotzi Blackheart in NXT. It was a fun character.
It was.
Like the Rat Fink theme and like the fucking tank and all that fun stuff. And then she got called up, and it just things changed.
But here's the thing. much like Austin Theory has turned things around ever so slowly, maybe that's what's going to happen for Shotzi.
I hope so.
We just have to be a little more patient and wait it out.
Yeah.
This was not her night.
No, it was not.
Shotzi did not know how to work against Rousey. It was evident. Rousey, got 3 years, man. Listen, and look, I'm having to eat some crow here.
And we spent the first year and a half making excuses for her.
I know. That's exactly what I was about to say. I was like, the first 2 pay-per-views, she came out of the gate and she was well taken care of. She had good partners that knew how to take care of her, and she looked very credible. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of turned her loose. And Hensley's right. We made excuses for her for a solid year.
Because, I remember, this is like going back, but it's like I remember the night that we essentially saw her last big UFC match.
And then
and then it's just we saw this transition from her going to UFC into WWE and seeing that, and like you said, we were just like, okay, this is the jitters. This is a different kind of game. Mm-hmm. But you know what? She'll do Roddy Piper right. And
they pushed her too hard, too fast by going straight to main events. Once she gets some more time under her belt, blah, blah, blah. Full year of that.
Yeah. And so then she took a year and a half off to have a baby. And then she comes back and she's okay. Have you been seeing anything on the internet this week about Rousey? People are calling for her release.
Really?
Yeah, the match was so bad. People are calling for her to be released.
Oh my God!
Which, man, okay. Look, I don't want anybody losing their job, but look. Rhonda's she's a multi-millionaire and she's a prepper. She's going to land on her feet. She's fine.
Also, you and I both know that whole I don't want anyone losing their job thing is 100% bullshit. We all in this room want certain people in AEW and WWE to lose their jobs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's But Rhonda I do like. And
as a personality, sure, but that can only go so far. Because, like, what was the analogy you made where it's just like you living in France? What was? How'd you put it?
So, the best way to learn how to speak French is to be dropped in the middle of France and left there for a year. When they come back to get you, you will be speaking French. Just baptism by fire. Rousey's been there 3 years. Not only has she been involved in wrestling for 3 years, she's been immersed in it. And not only just professional wrestling, she's at the big show, the biggest one, the place where all the professionals, all the legends are. You can't get any more help than the WWE.
So what you're saying is if she's going to be immersed anywhere, it needs to be back in time to ancient Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to Assassin's Creed it.
Yeah.
It's just... Because, if you compare it to, like, just the people within the last even year... when you look at Bad Bunny and admittedly, Logan Paul. It's just like they were in it for an even shorter amount of time, and they put on some really great matches. Logan Paul was a big surprise. We hated that he was so good at it.
I still hate it, and he's still here.
But it's just objectively, he gets it.
He does.
And
Ronda doesn't.
It's just she doesn't, and it's just not exciting to see her because it's just like you're just watching somebody swim with little like swimmies. It's just like, are you still doing that? You're 3.
It's so cringy to watch now. Her trying to talk smack and trying to get heat. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts my ears, man.
It's like not even Shayna could save it.
And they had Shayna
remember?
freaking Baszler out there, still not good enough to save this thing.
I mean, it's like everything with Shotzi and Shayna. I'm gonna say I don't blame them for this match, but it speaks more to Ronda that she's not that giving of a partner, and she's not that prepared when she should be.
She don't get it. That's the thing. She don't get it. Shayna can't help her. She was on the outside.
Yeah.
They could do a couple spots, which they did, and they were bad too.
Yeah.
I'll go over that spot, and then we're gonna move on because I just hate talking about this. But they did this. It was towards the go home. Ronda ends up. Shotzi throws Ronda over the side.
Yeah.
And then here comes Shayna, and then she throws Shayna over the barricade, and then Shotzi gets up on top of the barricade, where they're just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
Where there's 3 fans sitting right behind them in chairs, and Shotzi comes and dives on Rousey and Baszler.
Yeah.
And it's the slow, and everybody, including the fans, fall over. It was the slowest fall that I have ever seen in my entire life. It was so bad, and I was just like, even the 3 plants that were in the audience were doing better than the wrestlers. It hurt my heart, man.
Yeah.
I gave this 1.5, and I personally should have dropped it down to a 0.5.
Yeah. I was not interested in watching.
It took
this
away.
match. It did.
It took away from everything that's happened so far.
Yeah.
So let's move on to a better one.
Yeah.
Again, surprisingly, Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins for the U.S. title.
Now we're talking about people on rockets. How about the rocket Austin Theory is on?
Oh my God!
Like, god damn! Like, it's like Cameron Grimes is to the moon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is crazy.
They are.
I started watching NXT especially when the starting of like the Gargano family storyline, and Austin, before they started that whole faction, it was, he was just kind of like the standard, muscle boy, and then you pair him with Johnny. And Johnny shows him just like, here's how you can have some fun with your character and really win the crowd.
Yeah.
And just being a lovable meathead.
Yeah.
And so he played as like the big brother to like their little like family faction that they had. I can't remember what
it was either, but I remember this.
But it was so much fun watching him be like the meat-headed son in their tag team.
Yeah.
He was and it's like he got more and more lovable. And then he gets called up, and Vince made him into like this lap boy kind of thing. Like, I wasn't sure where that was going.
Yeah.
But obviously it went nowhere. And then Vince is gone, and Triple H is just like, you are the guy now.
Yeah.
And it's just been insane seeing him just like...
We weren't sure for a minute because once Vince left, they took him off of the Bloodline story.
Right.
I mean, immediately.
Yeah.
they took his cell phone away from him
Yeah.
and then gave it to Logan Paul. But whatever.
That
It's fine. It's fine.
I know enough about Logan Paul to be like, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Then he jobbed and he jobbed and he jobbed, and then just maybe a couple weeks before,
It was when Johnny came back.
yeah, things turned, and they gave this kid the rocket, and man, is it working?
It is. It really is.
I think, man, it's well. First of all, everybody in this match looked exceptional. I mean, it's hard to have a bad match with Rollins in there anyway.
Right.
Even if you do have Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley looked fantastic.
Well, when you put Bobby with some capable wrestlers,
Yeah.
He does good work.
He does. I mean, he
sweats.
can't
He
carry.
sweats like a fountain, but but it's just like, in fact,
It's an old English fountain.
I want that. It's just like I hope if he ever listens to this, it's like, I will commission you to make a fountain of yourself, and it's just these small little protrusions throughout your body, and it's just like you just sweat because you're just a wet man.
This match was absolutely exceptional. The go home on it, I didn't have any notes because I stopped taking notes and I just enjoyed the match for what it was.
I mean, there was that one spot where Bobby Lashley was like choking all three, like the two of them,
right.
and which was just sandwiching Austin Theory in the middle. Yeah, that was funny.
Now, the go home on this, after Lashley spears, Lashley spears Rollins, and then he picks up Theory for the Falcon Arrow. Bam! Theory turns it over on him, gets the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Hashtag and new U.S. champion Austin fucking Theory. Good on you, kid.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. Like,
And think about it, he's been the U.S. champ before.
he has.
See, we not only did you not know, but you didn't fucking care. But this time, it mattered. Why? What's the difference?
I mean,
The absence of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
that is the difference.
I mean, it's like that. That's what it's always going to come to from now on, especially, or at least for like the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It's just, and once we see all these pay-per-views under Triple H,
Right.
and just seeing like how he's going to alter them, how he's going to change or just tweak them even, and book them better. I mean, it's just he's got a better sense for it.
At least until the inevitable takeover by Vince McVan.
I mean, he's got like the Groucho glasses and like nose and shit.
and a top hat.
You know what? I'd see it. At this point,
never heard of her. I don't know what he heard.
Moving into our next match, and actually, this is it.
yeah.
Yeah, we are here. We are at the main event, and
What a main event, and just what a story it is.
I know. Now, this is the thing. Now, granted, all of the complaints that I had about the women's match are still in this match too. It doesn't matter because there's one difference that the women's match did not have that the men's had, and that is some epic fucking story. As if we would continue on this route with Roman Reigns, I am fine. Now, he still needs to drop this belt at WrestleMania. It's been a long damn time.
Yeah.
He needs to drop it.
And
but this is the type of story. Had Triple H been running this for the last 2 years, this would be epic.
And it's with this match, you kind of get a sense of how he's going to lose it. Or like you have a theory of just how he's going to lose it.
I do have a theory that I think I've got a prediction of what's going to happen. I'll share it with you after.
Let's set up the match.
Yeah. So we have the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. Now we start things out with Jey Uso and Uso.
That's not very oosy of you. That's not very ooshy of you. You just turn to Sean Connery.
We'll get Ushi in a minute.
Ooshy in a minute.
It sounded like I was hitting on you, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
It's getting weird.
Yeah, well, that's Sean Connery.
So we start out with Jay and Butch. Again, I know people don't like
I mean, I've always said it.
our lovely broserweight being called Butch.
I mean,
but I'm coming around to it.
I never
man.
said his name right anyway. Gina always made fun of me because, like, I always say Pete Dunne.
Pete Dune.
However I say it is wrong.
Look, I like Butch.
It's
I didn't
still,
at first.
It's still Pete.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's a different character.
It is.
This is Scrappy Doo.
Yeah,
except
it
a
is.
likable Scrappy Doo.
He has a hat.
Scrappy Dune.
Scrappy Dune. There you go. Scrappy Dobby Dune.
From the back, David Hensley.
There you go.
That's the entire reason I'm here.
Yeah.
That and to watch the counter.
Scrappy Dune. Hensley, look that up. We have a little TV now in here so we can see what Hensley sees.
Yeah, look at that. We're getting to be like the Joe Rogan podcast.
Slowly but surely.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll look up some weird shit.
So Jay and Butch start things out. It's kind of uneventful because we're not playing on the story at this point. Ridge Holland comes out next. I am still not sold on Ridge Holland.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's a decent hand. But I don't feel like he knew what in the hell he was doing in there. It looked like he was just going through motions and he did not have a clue where he was.
Well, I think a lot of that is because it's not an excuse. It is not an excuse. But if I were him, and if I had a particular kind of personality, I would be like, I know this isn't about me.
Right.
So it's like I'm gonna go through the motions because either maybe he was tired. I don't know.
Maybe he was.
I don't know.
He was.
I don't know his day. I don't know.
But
I don't know his
he
life.
is always light. The War Games did not change things for him. He is kind of always like that.
Well, it's funny because I remember the first time he showed up on NXT, he got injured within the first not even month, and then he was gone for almost half. See, I get my wrestling departures mixed up,
it
or at
all
least
runs together.
My time understanding with wrestling is weird because a year to me is actually 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
So it's I can't remember. It was a long time in wrestling that he was gone.
Right.
And then he showed up out of nowhere as we were just moving on.
Yeah.
And it was just oh yeah, Ridge Holland.
Right.
And then he got called up and became part of this fun little.
Yeah, which hey, good on him because I like the Brawling Brutes. They're over.
Yeah, it's a great.
It's a little weird that they're in the main event of Survivor Series.
Well, you need it's it's not about them.
You're right. It's not. It was about the bloodline.
Yeah, and yeah.
So Jimmy comes in. Well, Jimmy starts to come in next. Roman grabs his hand, shakes his head, and goes, "Sammy, this is you."
And it's
you want to back up a second and talk about the.
I would because I
please.
think we need to address this.
Okay.
It's such a really good story,
It
and
really
especially for Sammy. To be Sami Zayn right now, to be a part of something that shouldn't have been a month long.
No.
And then he said, "You're not very oozy." And everyone And everyone in Saudi Arabia wanted Sami Zayn.
Yes.
They were Sami crazy.
How about
They
that?
were Sami insane.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about this was, like, you could have left this at a one-night story and it still would have got over.
Oh, yeah.
Because what we had, we take it back to SmackDown when Kevin Owens is talking to Sami Zayn and saying, hey, you know, it's really great that you're with the bloodline. How long do you think this is actually going to last? I said, if it were me, I'd turn on them before they turn on you.
Yeah.
You know it's going to happen.
Which is not bad advice.
It's not.
But it's great psych work. It's a good psyop.
There's a lot of stuff going on in that one.
And then, but it was Jimmy Uso that overheard it.
Yeah.
And during the pay-per-view, brings it up to Roman, being like, hey, Sammy was talking to KO.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to turn on us. And I've always been right about him. And he's going to turn on us. That's what's going to happen.
And Roman doesn't even look back at Paul Heyman, who is holding both belts like Christ died for them. And he goes, Paul, get Sammy in here. He just picks up his phone.
and just says to Sirius, like, call Sami Zayn.
Yes. How do you not love that?
I mean, it's great. And then, you know, the other matches happen, and then Sammy gets in the room with Roman.
Yeah.
And Roman confronts him. And it's like, hey, I heard and I know you were talking to somebody. Are you with this family?
And let me interject for a second. The way Sammy did this.
Oh, it was so good.
Because you didn't know exactly. He was like, okay. So he talked to me. I just kind of listened. Okay. He's the one that came to me. Okay. I was just kind of there, and I was just kind of listening, and I'm with you guys. And he just left everything so open, but he didn't lie about anything.
No, and that was the big thing.
He turned it a little.
He did, but that's the important thing. He didn't lie.
Yeah,
It was just like he was thinking about it, and then he was like, "No, I'm gonna. This is what happened.
Yeah.
Kevin said this to me, but I am with the bloodline,
right."
And then they embrace, but then it's the one time that Roman Reigns' soliloquy face is actually needed and is actually used properly.
Damn it, Hensley! I wish you could have seen it. It was
like, this is the moment where a soliloquy is appropriate.
Yes.
Not in the middle of Hell in a Cell.
I got nothing.
It's just, and that's the thing. We had nothing. It was a good moment.
It was.
Because Roman just like stared, like, you know, down off camera. Is just like, I sure hope I'm making the right decision.
Yeah, it was that soap opera moment where the camera's closing in. If it had some dramatic music behind it,
it'd be like, no.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. And then
we cut to this moment when it was Jimmy was going to go in, but then Roman said, no, Sammy goes in.
And the commentators once again, I hate Michael Cole, guys. I fucking hate him. I hate him. I don't hate the character. I don't hate the commentary. I hate that he
kills a moment.
I hate that he exists. However,
you just wish he wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's like, Michael, I just wish you wouldn't.
I just think back to The Office with the way Michael Scott and Toby are, and Michael just looks at Toby and he says, I so hate the things that you choose to be. and that's me and Michael Cole damn it, you got to give the devil his due. It was perfectly done. He sends in Sammy. Cole comments. He's this is actually a really good idea if you send Sammy in like this right off the bat and early. We're going to find out exactly where his loyalties lie. And just furthering that damn story. That's good. That's perfect. Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
It's what this whole pay-per-view was about.
Yeah. Now, so like I said, Jimmy starts to go in. Roman stops him, sends in Sammy. Drew comes in, makes an attempt to superplex Jay. Sammy stops him, saves him. It's great stuff. This whole match, it is Sami Zayn saving the bloodline every single time. Jimmy finally comes in and brings in some tables and starts to get oozy.
Yeah, just oozying it up.
And well, here we go. Sammy and Jay start arguing in the ring, and it starts to come to blows. But while they're arguing, Kevin Owens comes in, bow, 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 starts cleaning house, and stopped when it came to Sammy. And they just stared at each other. And just gave that 5 or 6 beats of just, and then they went their separate ways.
This is what's it going to be.
Yeah. Solo comes in right after that. And just slammed his damn head right into the cage.
Yeah.
But see, this is something else that I love. Again, people can hate me on this if they want to, but I love there is a trope in wrestling that the Samoans have the hardest heads in the world. So whenever you slam their head into the turnbuckle, into the turnpost, into the cage, they no-sell it. And that's exactly what happened. And I got very excited because I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it fits for him. You know, he's always going to be like the stoic one.
Yeah.
It's that I'm waiting to see like when his shake-up storyline's going to be.
Yeah,
because he's flying under the radar.
He is.
He's the strong man. He's just he's the little brother. And he's just like I'm just making sure I've hit my spots and making sure things run smoothly.
Well,
I'm just like when are you gonna get your storyline?
See, I think his storyline's going to be down the road, and
I think
like
so
I said,
too.
I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So our next one coming in is Sheamus. Wow,
Sheamus anus.
Boy, I can't talk tonight. Sheamus comes in to get the advantage, and then finally we have Roman coming into the ring, walking down as slowly as humanly possible.
But we're finally excited about it.
We are. It's
we're just like, what's gonna happen?
And he gets into the ring, and everybody stops, and we separate. Bloodline in one ring, Brutes in the other, and boom, here comes the brawl. Super kicks, punches, drop kicks.
It's just literally the cartoon Fight Cloud.
Oh my God! It's
see fists flying everywhere and everything, and just like a foot.
Yeah. Oh, it's all over the place. Jay accidentally hit Sammy with a super kick.
Yes.
Now, KO and Roman go after each other.
Yeah.
KO hits the pop-up power bomb, and he starts to get the pin, and just boom! As soon as he hit it, the crowd just whoosh, to their feet because they think this is it. Roman's about to get pinned. The refs, 1, 2, Sammy from out of nowhere grabs the referee's hand.
It's like a Lion King moment.
It was.
Because then you see the betrayal in Kevin Owens' eyes. He was just like, you were the best man at my wedding.
I knew it was you, Fredo. Oh man, Jay goes to do the super kick to KO, who blocks it. Sammy hits a low blow, and then again earns his pauses, takes a beat, and then blast KO with the haluva kick. Mm-hmm. And 1, 2, 3. Your winners of War Games in this Survivor Series 2022, the Bloodline. My God. And one difference, there is one man that's still selling, but is standing up. And that is Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. He's standing up. He's got his arm raised, but he's still selling, and everybody else is dead. Mm-hmm. Oh, God, man.
And Sami Zayn wins the trust of the Bloodline.
Yes. Heavy story. Heavy story.
Didn't you say that there was, because Sammy gives a spot to Jimmy, right? Doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. What was that?
It was close.
He did. He hit the haluva kick.
Yeah, he hit the
and
haluva
then he
kick.
Stepped back.
Well, it's like Jimmy Uso came up and he's just looking at it, and then Sammy was just
he's on the top rope.
Yeah, he's on the top rope, and Sammy stops, and he's just with KO on the mat, and he just gives an arm. And says,
just throws the arm out there
and says it's like this one's yours.
Yeah,
and wins the trust of Jimmy Uso.
Beautiful moment, man. I mean, in a moment that we're supposed to be booing, that's
it's just Sammy made the Bloodline so much more interesting, because this is an interesting story of just like, what does it take for an outsider to be a part of this family?
Right.
I mean, everybody's got that one person in their family that isn't blood related.
Yeah.
But you love them. You love them like a brother.
Yeah.
And so, like, what does it take to win the trust of a family like the Bloodline?
And that's where we leave off this Survivor Series.
It's just,
I swear to Christ, the two of you are saying family so much. I feel like
family,
in Fast and
family,
Furious 10.
it's family.
Well,
family.
I mean, it's more like ICP than you know.
I see poo.
It's not.
You're both fired.
And that
Okay, we'll go back to Fast and Furious.
At least we're fired as family.
Yeah, because we live our lives quarter mile at a time.
Family.
I gave this match once again another 5 Meltzer, just because the story
Really?
was so good.
Oh, the match. I thought you meant the whole pay-per-view.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, I was just like, you gave the whole pay-per-view a 5?
No.
Wow.
Now,
All right.
I did give the whole pay-per-view a 4, which is still really, really high for a WWE pay-per-view.
It's the one match out of 5.
Yeah. I mean,
that evens out.
yeah. So it's about right.
Nah, I mean, it was the last match was a real 5 out of 5.
It really was.
It's just, the story is so good and it's so interesting. I'm really happy with it. Like, it's, again, because we've just been so infuriated and exasperated by the Bloodline, and it's just like, all right, what can we do to make this interesting? And it was Sammy.
Yeah.
And I liked like the post press interview that they did, where it was Paul Heyman and Sammy, at the table, and Paul Heyman made the best like comparison of like who Sammy is in this story.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's like
without breaking kayfabe. I mean, he's staying in character the whole.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
Still,
but it's a great description because basically he's comparing him to a character in any kind of sitcom that was just a guest spot. There was just a one and done character.
Yeah.
But the audience loved him so much and they just knew what they were doing and knew why they were there and hit their spots that they were just like, we love you. We'd like to have you again next week.
Yeah.
And then they just become a pivotal character of the cast. Granted, we're going to see if it's going to go one route or the other.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So what I predict is going to happen, I would like to say that we've clearly started a very organic feud again with Owens and Zayn.
Yeah, Owens is going to be the devil on his shoulder, putting in doubt.
That's gonna start some stuff. It's probably gonna have just maybe one or two matches, and then we're gonna be donezo with it. But see, you remember the last thing that was said was Kevin looked at Sammy and said, "Hey, you made your decision, Survivor Series. I'm done with you."
Yeah.
And he walks away. Now, this turn on Sammy is going to happen. I'm trying to think of what kind of a timeline we're talking about. I would have to give it, I don't think a month is long enough.
No,
I think we got to go maybe 2.5.
Well, first, we got to decide who is getting the belt next.
Well,
that's
let's talk.
Well, we can get into that, but before going into that, it's like that needs to be established of like who is getting the next belt, because then that gives Roman someone to focus on.
Cody.
You think?
I'm still saying Cody's getting the belt. That's what's
as
gonna
long as he
happen.
doesn't get injured before getting it again, like sure. Like I again, it's like what we've been saying for the last 2 whatever years.
See, this is
it's just like it's somebody.
See, this is the thing about it.
MJF.
Roman doesn't have anything to do with this Sami Zayn equation.
Right.
This is what's gonna happen is they are going to turn on him. It's gonna come at a pay-per-view, and it's just gonna be boom. It's gonna be a flashbang, and they're gonna start beating the shit out of him, and it's gonna get cringy. It's gonna be so bad. And then what happens? There is one person that can save him, and that person is Kevin Owens. And he will charge down to that ring, and the crowd is gonna pop like you've never heard before, and he's gonna clean house with a chair or something, and they're gonna look at each other, and it's gonna take a few beats, and then they're gonna shake hands, and they're gonna hug, and then they're gonna be the tag team, and then they're the ones that are gonna beat the Usos for the tag team championship. And all of this is going to happen at WrestleMania. The bloodline will fall at WrestleMania.
I mean, they have to at this point, because like, when is WrestleMania next year?
For 1st of April.
1st of April?
Yes.
Okay.
First week of April, I think.
So I mean, okay. So we've got the rest of December, January, February, March. I mean, it has to be, or at least the Usos need to lose their belts.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Because I feel like they're going to draw it out a bit longer. Because what I think is like Sammy's going to make Roman lose his belt. That I think is going to happen.
You think so?
I mean, it's one theory.
I would be very interested to see, because knowing Triple H, the way that he's doing things, everything needs to be tied into the bloodline.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be tied into each other. So, like, we know that Kevin Owens is tied into Sammy, which is tied to the bloodline. Mm-hmm. So we already got that tag team established there. Now we got to figure out, okay, how, if we are going to connect those two stories, how would we connect it?
Yeah.
How would Cody come back and be connected to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn?
Yeah.
That's the interesting part.
So I'm gonna throw a different hypothetical at you, or like an
Okay.
alteration. Let's say something happens to Cody,
Okay.
because I'm just saying we consider his track record.
Don't trounce on my dream, Ted.
I'm not trampling or trampling on your dream. I'm just being a realist. I'm being a cynic realist, and be like, listen, Cody gets hurt a lot.
Okay.
He gets hurt pretty bad.
Okay.
When he doesn't mean to.
Yeah.
So, who would you have after Cody tears another piece of his body before we can get to WrestleMania? If we are to assume Roman is losing his belt at WrestleMania,
Okay.
and
Well,
Cody does another oopsie.
the easy answer is to say Drew McIntyre. Right. See, that's the thing.
Boo.
That's the easy answer, because you can put the belt on Drew and then he can drop it. He can drop it to somebody and he can do a turn, or somebody else can do a turn, and then they can flip back and we can work it that way. That feels forced.
It does. I mean, it's like, and nothing against Drew. I love Drew as the COVID champion.
Yeah, that's
he's
he's the COVID champion, and that's
he is, and he was a great champion.
he was.
And he's an incredible wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of having the go-to Vanguard, to be because we see it enough in AEW.
No, you're right.
It's like, it's always going to be Moxley.
Yeah.
It's always going to be, So I want it to be someone new.
So we both agree that Drew is probably the easy out, but it's not acceptable.
Right. It's like, we're not Vince anymore. Let's
Right.
be interesting. Let's be new.
Okay. So there's your next obvious one. The next obvious one is, in my opinion, your best choice, and that's Seth Rollins. It's still on the nose, isn't it?
It's still on the nose.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't
There
know.
is one dark horse in the running, because Randy Orton is
he coming back?
he is supposed to be coming back just after the Royal Rumble.
Was he out on injury?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Messed up his elbow.
Oh, well. I'll allow Randy. I hadn't seen him in a minute.
Yeah.
And
Randy is also, he's kind of like Taker is now.
Yeah.
He's your go-to guy. You can rely on him to deliver and do exactly what needs to be done.
And it's also just like, I haven't seen Randy in a while.
Yeah.
So, like, we're overdue for a Randy Orton shenanigans.
Yeah.
So I'll allow Randy.
Yeah. We'll allow it.
We'll allow it. We're the final say.
Can I propose my theory
Sure.
about who eventually unseats Roman?
Please.
Please.
Unbelts Roman, let's say.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No one. He outlives all of us past the point where we're all dead and every part of his body has been replaced with cybernetics, and he is your WWE champion of the universe for the rest of time.
It's like how Nikki Cross is the final 24/7 belt winner.
Yes,
She
and
just throws
also
it into the trash.
a completely different theory, expanding on my Vince McMahon idea earlier.
Yeah.
Vince eventually Mrs. Doubtfires his way back in.
Oh, that's going to happen.
I'd be into that. It's like, look, at this point, we all thought the world was going to be over like 10 years ago. And, you know, it's every 5 years somebody says the world's going to be over. Hell, fuck it. Like,
I do want to see.
Let's see Vince in drag.
Yes, I want to see Vince in full Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Does he come in and do it like a lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Or walk like a man?
I think Walk Like a Man. That's a
Yeah.
better choice.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Would it be the Beach Boys version of it? Or?
Yes, I think it has to be.
Or
because
you
Vince
don't,
is old.
yeah, that's true. You don't think it's going to be a remix of something?
And he comes in. Hello, kids. What are you doing, kids? What are you? My name is Vince McMahon. Hello. Let's sing a popular song.
He just turns into like Richard
Everybody
Nixon.
have fun tonight.
It slowly it just becomes Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon fire.
Benjamin Fire, yeah.
That's my theory. That's my hill. I'm dying on it.
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
There it is. I love it.
I can dig it.
I want 8 episodes of it stat.
Vince McWoman.
So what do we have? What is next after? There's supposed to be one more pay-per-view, right?
What?
Is it an AEW that's coming up?
No, I know NXT's got one. It's got Deadline.
There you go. That Deadline, because they've got.
Yeah, they were.
This is the weird pay-per-view that they've got.
I think it's a new one.
It's the weird specialty match.
Yeah, because that's what I watched NXT yesterday, and they had these segments where they were picking out like what superstars they want to have for it. For like they went through the men's, they went through the women's. The only thing I really got out of it was I know Zoe Starks.
Yeah.
Is that she's one of the ladies that they picked.
Well,
Which
if they
mean,
go with Zoe, then we got to go with Nikita for the other side.
they didn't mention Nikita, but that tells me there's going to be shenanigans from Nikita during that match against just coming out of nowhere, because Zoe came in before her 3-way match with Toxic Attraction.
Right.
And Zoe kicked her, blindsided her in the knee as she was entering.
Yeah.
And so, like, that match became the last match of the night. So, I don't know. I can't remember a lot of the other people because,
Because we're just now being reintroduced to it.
Listen, I'm going to be real. If it's not Nikita Lyon, I'm not paying attention.
I can't blame you, because that's she's right on.
She's not hard to look at.
Yeah. You should check out Nikita Lyons, Hensley.
Oh yeah. I mean, she'll kick the face right off of your skull, but
There's one I haven't heard before, but I like it. She'll
Yeah.
kick the face off of your skull.
yeah, but she'll look beautiful doing it.
What do you got, Hensley?
Oh, not much. Coming up in a few weeks in December, we're going to be finishing out our theme for the year on Long Walk Talks, which was Perfect Tens, with my fourth and final pick, which is going to be another British crime film following on the heels of Snatch. We're going to be talking about the 2004 Daniel Craig film Layer Cake. And then whatever wrestling shenanigans happen between now and January.
Now, we usually do a Christmas special. Is that going to happen this year? Or are we,
Can I be in on that?
booked for time this time?
No, we're not booked for time. It's all just a matter of finding something that's going to live up to the sheer hilarity of Grandma got run over by a reindeer
Yeah.
and all of the other reindeer and whatever the hell it is that we did last year. I don't remember. We missed a year.
I think we missed last year.
No, we missed 2020. We talked about something fucked up and weird last year. I don't remember what the movie was. That's how quickly I repressed it.
Are we gonna have ever like a Money Plane-esque episode?
Yes, and I want it to be about Cocaine Bear.
Yes.
Oh,
I saw that today.
Yeah.
Jesus God, Ted.
Boy, when Ted gets excited.
It's a wild movie, dude.
Yes, 100%. We need to make a Cocaine Bear crossover episode happen. But yeah, so that's what we got coming up through the end of the year. I haven't decided on if we're doing a themed discussion on Long
If
Walk
your
Talks
ears
next year.
aren't bleeding, look up Cocaine Bear.
Yes, please. So, Doggz, if people want to reach out to you online or follow you online, where can they do that at?
What? No.
Sorry.
Let me see. You can, it seems that the most popular place to get me right about now is TikTok. That's two space DOGGZ. This is a work. You can get me on Twitter at Immortal2Doggz. I'm never on there. I mean, just nothing's changed. It's you can also get me on Instagram at This Is a Work Podcast. Yeah, that's about it.
Ted, what about you? Where can people follow you or reach out to you online?
You can find me more on Instagram. It's my name. It's TEDPTTRSN on Instagram. I do a lot of surreal art. I make a lot of fun little pictures.
Oh yeah.
It's that I've got a Redbubble. If you want to buy some shirts, it's the links in the bio on my Instagram. I mean,
It's rare that we have somebody on the show that has something to promote.
Right.
I am of a particular imagination. If you like weird, surreal, American cartoon style kind of stuff, it's hard to explain. I draw what I see in my head, and
That explains a lot.
it does. And so if you're into that kind of stuff, hey, check out my Instagram and my Redbubble. Find a shirt or a sticker. It'll help me out. And I hope you guys have me back for another one.
Man, I've enjoyed it. This has been a little slice of heaven.
It's always been a lot of fun.
If you want to follow me online, the best place to do that at is on Instagram at DB Hensley. If you want to keep up with the shows on Instagram, you can follow us at Long Walk Podcast and at This Is a Takeover. If you'd like to keep up with Long Walk Productions, you can visit us online at longwalk.us or search for Long Walk Productions and Long Walk Podcasts on Facebook. To see more of our original work or hear past episodes that are no longer streaming, you can follow the YouTube links in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening, and if you enjoy this show or any of the shows on the Long Walk Podcast Network, please make sure to leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you are listening on.
Thank you, Hensley. And once again, thank you to Ted Patterson for helping us out today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Guys, this is going to wrap us up for This Is a Work. So for David Hensley, Ted Patterson, and myself, David 2Doggz Hayes, saying, if you got out of bed today and you had a job to go to and someone that cares about you when you get back home, folks, this match is over and you just won via pinfall. Thank you for listening to This Is a Work.